Relationships are either gonna make or break your career. If you don't understand that power, you'll always be trying to make it and try to generate revenue or try to scale or try to get more exposure, and it's going to be so hard for you to do it because you're trying. I've seen so many people that I was literally on the same level with, quote unquote, my peers, that, and this is not a comparison game, but I've seen them shoot, way past me, just in terms of exposure, in terms of the amount of people that they're helping. And it was always, I didn't compare myself, but I found it fascinating how were they able to make that level of jump, especially when, I know they wasn't making revenue like that, or it was just like, well, how is it possible, right? So in my early years, I was really trying to figure that out. And one of the things that became apparent to me over the years is that it's very important to learn what you need to know. Like, information is number one. What you need to know, the strategy of what to do, is number one. But a very close second is your relationships, because that is what's going to allow you to get into places you've never been. That's what's going to allow you to see people you've never seen. That's what's going to unlock. It might be you meeting somebody that unlocks a piece of information that gives you the ability to go to the next level. You feel what I'm saying? So it's these relationships that we have to be able to build and form for you to be able to go to the next level, for all of us to be able to go to the next level. And every level, there's things that you need to know in order to play the game at that level. When you first just trying to get out the gate and maybe make your first 5-10 grand, make your first 6 figures, where there's certain things that you need to know, certain rooms you got to get in to figure out, okay, well, how do I make my first 6 figures? Well, it's probably great to get around people who are already making that. You feel what I'm saying? If you're surrounding yourself with the same relationships as the people who have the same thing as you, you're not putting yourself in any better position to be able to go to the next level. You want to be around people who have what you have, or who are doing what you are doing. But if you never put yourself in those environments, and I didn't at first, and that was to my fault, right? I started off working with working with college students and really trying to help them graduate and get into the career that they want. And I know I wanted to make 6 figures. I know I wanted to be able to do speaking. I wanted to be confident speaking on camera, confident speaking on stage. I wanted to do my events. I wanted to coach people, and I started to see some of these folks doing it, but it never occurred to me that I should put myself in those environments, in those rooms that can allow me to make it and actually do what they're doing, so I can figure out, okay, how do I really generate revenue doing this? And it took me a lot of years of just banging my head over and over and over trying to figure this out, until I eventually smartened up and said, okay, I should probably hire a coach, right? Instead of trying to do this myself. And but a big piece of it was learning, okay, who do I need to be connected to in order to get the information that I need to get, right? So part of my journey started off with, I'm like, okay, I need to connect myself with somebody who's already doing what I'm doing. So one of my coaches, shout out to Coach K, he was one of the folks that I connected with that really taught me on like, Terrell, you need to do this, stop doing this, make this adjustment. I looked at your social media, you need to switch that up, stop talking like that. Like, he was the one who really, like, and I had many, but he was definitely a big pivotal piece, especially from the business standpoint, that really allowed me to do this game the correct way. You know what I mean? And it's a blessing. It's a blessing that I've been able to be connected. But that's because I put myself we connected online, and I said, you know what? Let me let me reach out to him. Let me see if he can help. But obviously, I've been hitting my head on this wall over and over and over. Nothing is working. So let me figure out, well, what do I need to do in order to make things happen? So once I connected with him, then boom, I'm like, oh, okay, wow, and it just opened up a whole new world for me, right? So you might find yourself in that place where you just need somebody to open up your brain on the direction that you need to go, or how to bring on that team member, or how to scale, or how to go from $5,000 a month to $25,000 a month, right? Like, so whatever your situation is, you got to get around people who are already. What's so interesting about that is we got connected because of relationships. You feel me? Because of that relationship, I had another guy who, when I really first transitioned and I started working with entrepreneurs and business owners, I got connected to a guy who threw networking events. Because I was connected to him, he invited me out to these networking events. These networking events, I would meet different type of people. One of these people that I met was like a talent agent. Well, he just so happened to have a relationship with Diddy's son, right? So we built the relationship. We got cool, and then there was an invitation one day to go to Diddy's all white party. So we ended up, got an invitation. Boom, he got the invitation to come. Boom, you with me? Boom. Because of that relationship, that allowed me to be around and take pictures with, like, that was when, like, I met Busta Rhymes for the first time. I met, so shout out to Busta. Shout out to Joe Button, who actually I've seen on several occasions. I saw him there too, but he lives right in Jersey, right, and I'm in New York. So shout out to him. Shout out to Lala. I met Lala. Shout out to Fat Boy. Met him. Shout out to Shiggy. Shout out to Al Sharpton. Who else? Who else I met at that party? So it was just so many folks that I got an opportunity. That is the power of building relationships. Is that get the knowledge that you need to get to know what you need to do, because you need to have the clarity on what steps to take. You need to have the clarity on, all right, what do I need to focus on? What's my strategy? How to put together a coaching program? How to be able to post social media content? How to be able to get leads, make sales, and all those things. But if you're not building a relationship, you can't even make things in the best way possible, because there's information that you're missing. Because I'm part of certain masterminds and programs that allows me to bring on certain high level guests. That I got masterminds where people are making millions of dollars per month in their coaching businesses specifically. And so there's certain information that I'm privy to and that I get that the world doesn't get, just because they're bigger, they got more influence, they got more data, they got more people doing things on it. So I'm just ahead of the trend in terms of just being able to grow and influence and impact people in the world. You know what I mean? That doesn't make me, smart or special. That just puts me in a better position more than other trainers out there, because I have access to people that are. But it's just important to know that it's you want to build these relationships. You want it to be genuine, and don't overthink the how, right? Don't overthink the how to do it. Your goal is how can you partner with somebody to bring them value? That's a good way, right? If I know somebody and I bring them to my group, or I have them be a speaker at my event, it's likely that there's people at that event that did not know them that now knows them. So that can be new followers, that could be potentially new clients or customers. So that's, you feel what I'm saying? So that's value to them. So the bigger your audience is and your clients are, your clientele is, now people will be attracted to that attention, right? So there's just different ways. Maybe you might want to get creative. You could volunteer to help somebody for free at an event. You know what I mean? You could give them exposure some kind of way. It could be products, it could be services, it could be, you got to kind of be creative also based on what they need. So you got to be paying attention to their needs, but don't overthink it, and just realize that you want to just be relentless with, just as much as you're building a relationship, you want to be relentless with building, relentless with getting the information. You want to be relentless with also building those relationships.